Yeah, welcome in, welcome back to another live episode of the Format Podcast. That's right, that's right. Special Thursday night episode today. Still gonna do the Saturday night episode this weekend, but I haven't put out anything for a few days, and since I guess last Saturday's live, so I wanted to come out and give my thoughts on some of the stories that I thought were interesting, and hopefully you think are interesting as well. So let me just give a few minutes, see who comes in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here. If you're coming in the chat, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you like the show, and yeah, let's get right to it. So, we got some good topics today. Obviously, today is Thursday, and normally I would be doing a Throwback Thursday episode. And well, it looks like fate kind of decided what the topic of that was going to be, and as you see there, that is going to be our first topic. Legendary Bill Walton, and we'll get to that. But yeah, have some interesting topics here and some thoughts I want to share. So at this point, what I'm going to do is get started. But before we get to those topics, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right, just another friendly reminder. If you're here in the chat, please make sure you give us a like. All that stuff helps us, helps YouTube hit the algorithm, helps us push out the show to more people. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow here. Make sure you like it and make sure you share it. All right, cool. So I don't know if you're like me. If you're like me, you love college football, and I'm thirsty for college football. It's going to be a long summer, but I can't wait for it to happen. So anyway, the opening weekend of college football season has a lot of big games, and one of them obviously is USC versus LSU, and that's going to be in Las Vegas to open up the season. The other big one, obviously, I'm waiting for is Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I think that's going to be huge from College Station. But for the point of this topic, we're going to talk USC versus LSU. So when Lincoln Riley was coaching Oklahoma, there you go. It's not that serious. I feel you, man. College football is a special thing, and I can't wait for it to get back. Now, maybe it's me real quick, but it seems like the offseason is so long and then the season flies by. But it should be very interesting, very different this year. We're going into the first year of that 12-team playoff. So super excited about seeing that. And of course, let me mention this. If you play games and you love college football, for the first time in 10 years, we're going to have a college football video game back. So can't wait for that one either. But anyway, where were we? Yeah, so Lincoln Riley, when he was coaching Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley is one of the best offensive minds in college football. We've seen him get what one, two, three Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks and a Heisman runner-up in Jalen Hurts, and what three number one overall picks. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and now Caleb Williams. So this guy knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to coaching offense in college football. So he was the coach of Oklahoma, and obviously a few years ago it was announced that Oklahoma and Texas would be leaving the Big 12 and moving to the SEC. And at that point, the LSU job opened up, I think, in 2021, and Lincoln Riley was kind of tapped as that guy who was going to be heading to Baton Rouge to take the LSU job. And that was kind of, everyone pretty much thought it was a done deal. However, USC swooped in and they ended up making Lincoln Riley an offer he couldn't refuse. He goes and coaches the Trojans. Now, this is what was interesting, right? All the SEC people, the SEC media, SEC fans and whatnot, they're talking about basically calling him a coward without saying it, but saying he don't want to smoke, he don't want to deal with the SEC, so he ran from it. And I was one of the people, I really defended Lincoln Riley because I think he had two houses in Oklahoma, and I think USC bought both of his houses. They gave him a house out there in California. They made him one of the highest paid coaches in college football. They gave him and his family, I think, unlimited use of the private jet. Which conference do I go for? I'm not a conference guy. I am a Notre Dame football guy. So, you know, major independent. So I really don't have a conference. Now I do in some ways kind of like the Big Ten because I love the old school smash mouth football that they play. And I love the fact that they built out the Big Ten even more. Now you add Washington, you add USC, you add Oregon, and you add UCLA. That should be a really good, powerful football conference. So kind of like that. But yeah, so um just where were we? Yeah, so Lincoln Riley was getting drug. Oh, he's scared, he don't want to smoke, he don't want to go to SEC. But really, USC gave him everything he was looking for. They made him one of the highest paid and gave him all the perks, right? So he's like, man, listen, I'm going out here, I'm going out to Cali, right? And so he goes out there, Caleb Williams goes with him, he gets Caleb a Heisman, blah blah blah. Cool. Now, as I mentioned, USC is scheduled to play LSU in the opener in one of the big. Uh, okay, okay, all right, there you go, Big Ten, nice, nice. And so USC is scheduled to play LSU in one of the big opening weekend games. All right, cool. So now this week, the report comes out and I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, remember, I said I was defending Lincoln Riley when they were calling him a coward, saying he didn't want to smoke because he went to the Pac 12 instead of the SEC. But I'm like, okay, well, they gave him everything. They made it real hard for him to say no. Now we find out there's a report that Lincoln Riley has been trying for the past 2 years to get out of this game against LSU. And I'm like, what? What? Are you kidding me? Come on, Lincoln Riley. So there's an article here that I was reading about, and it says why Lincoln Riley failed to bail on LSU USC football showdown. So now here's the thing: this game was scheduled in 2021, and both schools, USC and LSU, are going to make $5 million off of the game. But Lincoln Riley and the Trojans try to back out. I'm like, come on, you're killing me here. All right, so the report says, quote, the biggest game of the opening weekend of college football almost never happened, unquote. Quote, USC tried for nearly 2 years to find a way out of the contract to play LSU in Las Vegas because Trojans coach Lincoln Riley didn't want the game, multiple sources told Saturday Down South, unquote. I'm like, are you like, why are you ducking this game, Lincoln Riley? Like, you have quality players, they have quality players, you're a great offensive mind, Brian Kelly's a very good coach. Do what you got to do. Like, I don't understand it. Why are you doing that? So the report then goes on to say Riley pulled out a lot of stops when he was trying to get out of this game. At one point, Fox Sports even got involved. That didn't help. Okay. They weren't getting out of the game, a source said. Another route Riley took was talking to his agent, who also represents LSU coach Brian Kelly. Riley wanted his agent, Trace Armstrong, to help get Kelly on board with changing things up for that matchup, but that didn't work either. The Trojans were never going to find a way out of this huge contest. So again, the question is, why is Lincoln Riley running and ducking from this matchup? It absolutely is disappointing. It really is. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I'm like, especially for me, because I was backing you up. I was defending you when I was defending you and backing you up when everyone was getting on you, telling you and saying publicly that you were scared and you didn't want to smoke from the SEC and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, nah, he got a sweeter deal from the Pac-12 and from USC. So why wouldn't he take it? And then the report comes out for this. And I can't believe it. It's really disturbing. And it's gonna be very interesting to see. Now, you've had 2 years at USC, Lincoln Riley. If you have a bad season this year, do they keep you with all that money they're paying you? I don't know. I don't know. you're going into the Big Ten, and that's going to be great shot by Anthony Edwards. You're going into the Big Ten. That's going to be a type of football you're not used to. That's going to be a type of weather conditions that most of your players are not used to. What happens if you got to play on the road? You know, at one of these Big Ten schools in November, December, and it's freezing cold. Like that takes some time to get used to, man. That takes some time to get used to. I don't know if you're built for that. Now, if you're Lincoln Riley, you had to know that that move to the Big Ten was coming when you took this job. That wasn't something that just happened, right? Um, oh my gosh, yeah. Listen. I'm not gonna go as far as to call him a coward. One, because it's unprofessional as a journalist to call somebody names, but we also don't know, what is behind him so desperately trying to get out of playing this game. I really don't know. I, I got no idea. Like I said, I'm just really really disappointed in what's being reported here. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. It's that's tough, man. But if what's being reported here is the real deal, and I have no reason not to believe the reporter, if if that's the case, then Lincoln Riley, they were right about you. And the only way to fix that, yeah, you do say it for me. The only way to fix that is to go out there, take your team, prep them, and put a whipping on LSU. That's the only way to fix it. But still, now everybody knows that you tried to duck this game. But the only way you can even make it remotely even slightly palatable is to go out there and put a whooping on LSU. That's all you can do. So get your guys ready and go out there and compete at the highest level. Disappointing, man. Disappointing. All right. I'm gonna call it there. That's gonna be the show for tonight. For those of you who stopped in, really appreciate you. Make sure you give a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel on the way out. If you like the content that you heard, please make sure you share the channel, let other people know about it, and let's get back together Saturday night. Gonna have another live show. Might be me. I might have a guest, but we're going to do that. We're going to talk about the main sports topics of the day. So yeah, can't wait to hear from you next time. And what does he say to his players? I really don't know. It's not that serious. I have no idea, man. What do you say? Do it for coach. I got caught out there. Help me out, guys. Hey man, I appreciate you. It's not that serious. I appreciate you, man. Listen, if you're enjoying the show, and I always see you in here, so I'm grateful for that, man. Make sure you're sharing the show, man. Let your friends and other sports fans know all about it. All right. But yeah, I'll be back with you guys Saturday night, and I'm out. Peace.